Hello, welcome to the CartoonStock Caption Contest.
Hello, everybody. You're now well aware of our living arrangements all these years. And you know that we're pocketing all this money to live in the lap of luxury. uh, let me ask you, Joel, how many of these deadbeats paid this time for it? Did we
I,
make
I honestly don't know. I could probably find out, but it might take me a little while.
It was
No,
a
I think it was about
It was-
150 because we had about 450
yeah,
entries.
452 or something entrants, so that was a lot.
yeah, that's a good amount. Yeah.
I mean, it was a cute picture. I mean, I think Julia Suits did a really nice job on that.
Yeah, let me share it.
Very nice.
I do wish, and I'm sure everyone does, that Julia was joining us. She's an interesting artist and a great cartoonist, and Bob and I were talking about her mouths and some of her facial drawings before, and it would have been good to talk to her.
No, she's a wonderful artist. Why'd you make the car yellow?
Because we asked for a little color in there. It doesn't factor in too much. We can talk.
No, it didn't. I mean, after I went through them all, I said, well, let me look at. Someone should be able to come up with something other than Yellow Submarine. But
there were a lot of people who were upset or had to square the fact that there was a dog and a cat in the car, but I didn't see any that.
What do you mean? What? No, that seemed like something very reasonable to create.
To try to square, yeah.
I mean, the background of the dog driving the car seemed okay, and the dog and the cat seemed like it got, you could play off of that a little bit.
For sure. And we are all on the same page here. This one's pretty obvious. A policeman has pulled over and is talking to fairly guilty looking pets or animals, dog, cat, and dog.
Yeah, they're all looking. And what kind of dog is that?
A terrier in the front, and in the back, maybe more
is it like a puppy, but a young. Well, that makes sense. It's like they're driving around their kid, and so it's a mix. It's a mixed marriage. I don't know that anybody. the cat. Really nice drawing. I like the way she used the color, and up front there was a color, and then more subtle.
And then this, I'll start with our with the ones we had in common. We had a lot in common this week. We had 11 in common.
So, all right, that's it. We're done.
Well, we have to. As always, we don't know who these people are, and we get down to 6 with one grand prize winner as we give out $1,000.
This is ridiculous. We have to stop giving out this money.
Yeah, I think some people have to do a 1099. I honestly don't know. We get some
every month on this. We just hope it's not the same person who's won.
No.
There's been a good mix.
There is a good mix, always a good mix, and it's actually like it when someone wins twice, in the same week, in the same month, because they're not using their 3 picks to refine something. They're using it to kind of go in different directions. So here we go. In no particular order, there are 11 that we had in common. You left the scene of an accident.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
You know another good trick? Learning to use the turn signal.
Good.
Also good. You can pee on them, but you can't park in front of them. Good, but then you wouldn't be pulling over someone at a hydrant, but that may be too pedantic.
No, I think that's good.
Who's a bad driver? You're a bad driver. That was cute.
That was the best of the bad dog captions.
Yeah, that I like.
It avoided the phrase "bad dog."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, the light was not gray.
Well, these are all in my top 10.
These are all a quick shout out here. A lot of people went with the colorblind thing, but a lot of people had the dog talking, and that was the only situation where they got it wrong. Otherwise,
so this was the best of the colorblind captions.
Know anything about the break-in at the tennis ball factory?
I do. That one came out of left field. I thought that was
Yeah, that's why I picked that one. That's the only one I
They're
got.
hardened criminals. It means you have to come to a complete stay.
Boo.
That is funny too. I'm going to need you to WALK a straight line.
That doesn't make much sense though, because
No.
hiding, the dog doesn't understand that. That's what we say.
Yes,
Right. There's no reason.
I'll explain it. So we have a dog, you have a dog, Bob, but if I move the dog's leash, or if we say casually the word walk or something like that, the dog gets excited and goes to the door. So I am constantly like, my wife will be like, did you WALK the dog today? Or where's the dog's LASH? So
I know, but
that's the joke. I get that, but why would the policeman in this context say that?
no,
the context,
because the dog wouldn't understand it. The dog will understand walkies and stuff, but the policeman won't.
It's interesting. Julia really liked that caption, but I don't think it makes sense.
Well, I think
doesn't really make sense.
I think you like it because the first impulse is it feels good.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, just because you have the association, and then you kick in with an evaluative function of you say that so the dog doesn't understand what you're saying.
No, you're right. I mean, it only makes sense if he's trying to entrap the dog.
Yeah, it does.
We could say it's the best of the entrapment captions.
The best of the crooked police. I don't care how fast the squirrel was going.
Like it?
Yeah, I had some squirrel things.
Hey, don't get cute with me.
Like it?
That's good.
And then, have you been drinking from the toilet?
Oh.
Yeah, the toilet.
Again, it doesn't make sense. I know it's a drunk driving caption, but it doesn't make sense.
This will be a be a tough one to get.
Yeah.
To get. So let's share and try to get down to 6, and then see where we go. So I'm okay with drinking from the toilet, knocking out.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it seems like we're good with that. And then I understand, unless it's the cop is trying to entrap someone, we have to get rid of the WALK one.
Yeah.
So now we're back to 9. It's gonna be hard to get rid of 3 here.
Complete stay. Get rid of complete stay.
I like that one still. How do you guys feel? The one I don't care how fast the squirrel was going, I don't think is funny.
I had to look at mine. I had a squirrel thing that's a little bit more conversational, different, like something about the squirrel. What would I have?
No.
Yeah, so tell me again about the so-called squirrel. So okay.
Wait, is that? I don't see that in yours.
Yeah,
The 3.
Yeah, so tell me again. Yeah, sorry.
Also, so I had sure you ran a dark gray light back there because dark gray would be actually red would be.
Yeah, but the policeman wouldn't think it's dark gray. You know, the dog would.
He's trying to work with the dog.
Oh yeah, but
that's why I think that.
But this assumes dogs can talk, that they understand they're colorblind, and they understand that they understand their color scheme. Red equals dark gray. Well, isn't there a gray caption in there anyway?
Yeah, the light was not gray is in there.
Yeah, and I think that's the best one.
I don't.
He's saying no, the light. Well, so it's the same thing. The policeman is saying no, the light was gray.
Right, but the thing is,
because they're all going to be. They're all going to look gray. What? They'll all look gray.
Various.
No, they'll be different. They will be different. Okay, my understanding is red will look dark gray to a dog.
Yeah, except but it doesn't specify the tone of gray.
What's that?
Lawrence's favorite doesn't specify the tone of gray. That's why I'm saying.
Right, but I think the advantage to mine is that it's clear that the dog is the only one who thinks the light was dark gray. In the gray caption that Bob chose, the police officer is also calling the light gray because he's saying you ran a dark gray.
He's saying, and what is the dog thinking? the dog is the dog is a driver. He knows actually that dark gray and these grays are related to real colors. Okay,
Well,
this is not the first time.
I was gonna save it till it was my go, but I think you're both wrong, and I very rarely think you're either clearly. But on this occasion, I went for the. I suppose you noticed the light was red because, and again, I'm going to reflect it back at you. You would both normally go for something that requires more thought from the viewer, and if you see it's if you mention the color red, then they have to go, oh, dogs can't see color. It adds an extra layer in my head. You have to think a little bit harder.
So what was yours, Joel?
So my version, or the version I liked, was I suppose you noticed the light was red. And you can still get
it just doesn't work. You got to have gray in there somewhere.
I want to quickly say I feel like it's just clever and not funny, and I'm fine not getting
You know what? We've got so many good ones. Why don't we knock out gray, and then we don't have to argue about it?
Yeah, it's not funny enough for me to. It's a good caption, but it doesn't make me laugh.
Okay, the only
Very
one
solid.
but I clearly did a terrible job here because I wasn't looking. I wasn't really looking at them because of my.
Can we meet? Who liked? It means you have to come to a complete stay.
I liked it, but it's not going to win for. It's not going to be my favorite one. I would have liked it in the top 6.
I definitely want know anything about it. Breaking at.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh yeah, the tennis ball factory is great.
I think an accident has to stay. Scene of an accident has to stay.
Yes.
I think learning to use the turn signal is great.
Yes.
The hydrant one is clever, but he wouldn't be pulling them over. And I hate being like weird.
No, I think that's good. I think it's good. I think you're right. That was in my top 10, but I think you're right. It shouldn't be a finalist.
I doubt many tickets for illegal parking have happened being pulled over. So that's more of a ticket.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't.
So,
yeah.
So I think if
with me is just so. If you want to get rid of the stay, well, I'm fine with stay. Does anyone else want to fight? Or Joel, which one do you want to kind of knock out? We can always move these back. I just want to get to 6 before we go through.
I don't know if I'm really cantankerous, but I've already decided on my winner now. So as long as the tennis ball one stays,
but
everything.
I don't know. What's give me which ones are you feeling? All right, then stay. Lawrence feels strongly about it. Or
I didn't. If I'm honest, I didn't like any of the squirrel ones. I don't know why, but there was something about all the squirrel ones.
I'm also in agreement.
Cut out the squirrel.
Cut it out.
I'm sorry. We didn't cut it out.
No.
I like the squirrel much better than complete stay.
No. Squirrel is. I mean, squirrel. Some squirrel joke is good.
But
all right.
We're down
to 6.
But I think we should see if anybody wants to fight for one of their own.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely. I just wanted to. I didn't want to start fighting when we had already 11. Let me just move some of these here. The walk one we got rid of, and then complete stay, and we got rid of gray. And now we are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so let us review. Let's go here, Lawrence. You have a lot of these, you said so.
Yeah. So, see what don't I have? I had your other license and registration, but I want to exclude all the license and registration jokes. I had scene of the accident. Know another good trick. All right, here's the one I'll fight for. Turning tricks at rest stops doesn't make you service animals. I was wondering if somebody would manage to make a really sick sex joke, and this is it.
It is a funny caption.
The 2 meanings of the word service I thought was brilliant. So I liked your blatant disregard for the law.
I mean, it's first of all, it's great, but on the other hand, it completely disregards a lot of the setup.
Well, but because they're in a car, rest stops refers to the fact that they're in cars. He's pulling them over for I guess being prostitutes.
Yeah. So
but no, I just wanted to highlight it doesn't have to be in the top 6. And I think your blatant disregard for the law was adorable, which I like, but it's not as good as "Hey, don't get cute with me," which is just better phrased, and it's kind of the same joke. And then I've got the tennis ball factory, and the light was not gray. So I'm fine with the 6 that we have. You know, I don't know which one I'd want to kick out in order to get my sex joke in.
I put turning tricks in the image. We can look at it in the image after this.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so Julia next here. Julia actually has hers in order, but she did have some comments to her. So let me quickly read her comments. All right, so first she really liked these are in order for her. Late for a poker game is not an excuse. She likes it snappy and smart, makes people visualize the famous image, and takes into account the group of them, not just the driver.
But that's the weakness as well, because the painting she's referring to is that oil painting. Dogs playing poker. There's no cat.
There's no cat. Yeah.
Painting, and so.
Yeah, it actually could be a good caption if they were all dogs. Yep. And then they're all in order. I'm going to need you to walk a straight line. This one was not repeated. I'm going to let you off with gentle scolding and baby talk. And then number 4, she writes, James Spade. Your name is James Spade, and she said this made me laugh out loud.
Mm-hmm.
The rest, in her words, are distant favorites. Hey, don't get cute with me. She said she enjoys the spare wording, and then no comments on the other 2.
Yeah, who's a bad driver? You're a bad driver. She had. Now,
so she got that one, and
yeah,
I'll let you go this time, but you have to stop chasing cars. Which there was a ton of car chasing ones, which no one seemed to have in the final. So. All right, Bob, you talked about some of yours already, but here's another chance.
Okay, so I think next contest I actually have to look at all the entries. But so I do like the tennis ball one and to ease the pain, I'll wrap the ticket in cheddar cheese.
That's a nice one too.
But I won't. But I won't fight for any of those because of my negligent perusal of the caption.
All right, Joel.
Right now, I normally get a few. I normally coincide with every week. I have 3 or 4 that coincide with somebody else's, and I feel pretty confident. I don't think any of mine match with anyone else's this week at all.
None of them.
And I don't know if that's to my credit because I'm just a free thinker, unlike you sheep, or
British humor is bad.
or whether I just haven't got any sense of humor at all. Both are possible. There's nothing. I didn't particularly like last week's. I thought they were all good. This week, I was really struggling to find ones that I genuinely thought were funny. Some of them were clever, like the ones about being, not being able to see color or things like that. And no, I was the only one who seemed to pick a human years joke. No one liked the human years jokes in the same way. No one seemed to like the chasing cars jokes. I quite like those. The 2 things I would say is I think Bad Dog, which I know you hate, Lawrence. I could be wrong, but I think if you put it on the image, it would actually look quite good. It's just as simple as you get. But it
doesn't. It doesn't really address the car. I mean,
that's fair. Yeah. And the one that I should have led with this because I made me laugh when I knew it would. I wouldn't even include it because everyone would shout at me. But
such a tough crowd.
We would echo.
It's the reason why it amuses me is because I know how much you'll dislike it. And dislike it, one, because it's a bad pun, and secondly, because it doesn't even connect with the image. And it's I shit you not.
God! Yeah, that's not in here. You didn't put that in here, but there was one. I shit you not, right?
Yeah, I didn't include it in my top 10. It was in my top 15, but it was only because I just amused me that it's such a bad pun. And
he's talking at one point about highlighting the worst pun of the month.
I have one I would recommend. I smell caninibus in here.
Oh, jeez.
That one made me want to throw my computer from the floor. It smells like canine. This is stupid.
Hey, but Trevor, just to go back to one of mine, so you know what the zoomies are, right? Are they just?
Yeah, I think I have a zoomie one too. I like the zoomies. Yeah,
yeah, you know. So I just like that. You know,
I have to say, I was not familiar with that term.
I get a zoom.
If you have dogs or you have cats, there's a period often during the day where all of a sudden they just start moving.
Yeah, hyper play running around. I had one, I guess.
For no particular reason, and I guess I know what the zoomies are. As this is an excuse. It's like the squirrel excuse.
Yeah, I had mine was looks like someone's got the zoomies. When the cop's giving him a ticket, which I did like that one. There's another terrible pun. I saw you looking down at your bone. No, the light was not gray. Who's a bad driver? You left the scene of an accident, which was my favorite one. Looks like someone's got the zoomies is probably the only one I would want to add.
So,
and then here, and these here are in order. We'll do our top 10 of the voting. I think we'll skip the breath test. Have you been drinking from the toilet? Been drinking from the toilet this evening, sir? Please put the car in PARK, which doesn't make sense.
This is the same problem.
And then have you been drinking from the toilet? These must be two different entries, though, that are exact. Can I not smell your breath, please? I don't care how fast the squirrel was growing. I hate this job. Even my own dog isn't happy to see me, which is, I don't know how. It means you have to come to a complete stay, which is not what the other one we liked. And then another good trick, learning to use the turn signal, which actually we agreed.
Yeah, that's good.
So I guess we have. We'll go back to the image. We're at 6. I have Lawrence's dirty one in here.
That's funny.
I'm sorry. I just
yeah. That's just so funny that
turning tricks at rest stops doesn't make you.
It's just so funny because it has it's sexual, it's transgressive, it's everything. So, like when you got so many good things going for it, right? Something
but service animals are allowed to be in planes, but they're not allowed to drive cars. But yes, it is.
Oh, really?
It makes me happy. Yeah, you can't drive a car. Surprise.
I think you can. No, but it's just so loopy, and the rhythm of it is so good.
Yeah,
exactly. It's nice.
It just works as a kind of silly, crazy thing that brings up sex and turning tricks and prostitution and all of it, and
rest stops. Yeah,
it's dirty. It's dirty, and so that all of that. Now, of course, you have to forget about. I mean, this is a really terrible little terrier that's taken his puppy along for these.
Well, the red collar, the red bandana gives it a little bit of a prostitution or sex work.
Whatever works for you, Trevor.
Oh, Roxanne kind of thing. All right, here's this. So we have 7. You left the scene of an accident. I think this might be my favorite. I'm going to fight to keep that one in the top.
Yeah.
Another good trick? Learning to use the turn signal.
Good.
I think it's also good. Who's a bad driver? You're a bad driver. It's
pretty good.
I think it's good too. Turning tricks at rest stops doesn't make you service animals.
Oh, yes.
Know anything about a break-in at the tennis ball factory?
Great. So I want that. There was one other tennis ball joke in which someone was throwing it out, but let's keep that.
I don't care how fast the squirrel was going. I think we knocked it. Did we knock this one out?
I think we can knock that out. If that's the 7th one. Let's
knock that one out. Hey, don't get cute with me. We have 6 now.
Oh, so go through them now. Hey, don't get cute with me.
Know anything about the break-in at the tennis ball factory?
Great.
Turning tricks at rest stops doesn't make you service animals.
great.
Well, okay, so all of them. Oh my God.
Who's a bad driver? You're a bad driver.
Yeah.
You know another good trick? Learning to use the turn signal.
Good.
You left the scene of an accident.
Really good.
Yeah. I really like that
So what do you think? Do you think that you left the scene of an accident?
That's my favorite. You guys really like the tennis ball factory.
I love the tennis ball.
Well, I like the tennis ball. I
I
like the tennis ball factory, except
The cat.
going back to just my original template is, okay, this is a cartoon.
This is a cartoon.
Yeah,
Right.
this is a cartoon. You left the scene of an accident is a cartoon. I mean, it's a little bit complicated here because it would be a better cartoon if it was just the dog in there. You know what I mean? There's these extra elements, but we're in the caption contest space, right? But there's a cat, there's a puppy, and whatever. So if a cartoonist had done this, and it would be you left the scene of an accident, there wouldn't be these other animals in there. It'd be a dog.
Right.
It'd be a dog, but we give a little freedom here.
Yeah. Well, cats don't care about tennis balls really, so there's a hole in that.
No, we don't know that. I wouldn't say that as a concrete as the fact. Well, I think there are more flaws in this than the tennis ball one, if I'm honest. Well, even if why would I be dishonest?
The tennis ball one, I think, deserves to be a finalist, but not a winner.
Yeah, I agree.
It was nice. It came out of left field. Nobody else really went after a similar joke. It's clever. It works. But I think you left the scene of an accident is the best.
I think you think there's something wrong with that, Joe?
Only the point you raised that there's too many people in the car. It's one.
Okay, but that's the difficulty of a caption contest. It's impossible often to come up with something. Going back to what I said, that a cartoonist would draw and put that caption on.
All right.
When you look at it both ways. We'll see what Julia had for our own caption, but when you look at it both ways, that's where caption contests don't work out completely, but we give it the improv space of, you're allowed. In other words, we give it a little bit more latitude. Almost none of them really then take into account. If you look at this and you'd say, what is this? What other than the dog, they're giving a ticket. What is it? Why are they in the car? Who are these three animals, right? If I'm trying to think of a story, and I can't quite come up with it other than the passenger seat is usually, in some stereotype like this, the wife. Okay, it's not a friend, or maybe it is, but anyway, she may have just drawn it randomly, but if you try to make sense of what why would a cartoonist put in these three animals? It looks like a family because the kid is in the back, right?
I don't know. If they're joyriding, it could be friends. I mean, that I didn't ever think they were a family, but I could see that.
Oh, I see. So you think they're joyriding?
Yeah.
Well, the cat is.
That's the thing about the drawings for the contest. They can be interpreted different ways.
Yeah.
They all look like fans of tennis balls. That's all I'm saying.
Well, just shut up.
I like that caption too. This one feels like a real cartoon and more evergreen.
This is the closest to a real cartoon. This should be the winner, and we're gonna and do we have Julia's?
Yeah. So I want to quickly describe, and Bob, you are obviously aware of this. Julia sent us a bunch to choose from. In the original, the cop was on the radio at the police car, and when we asked her to, we liked the scene and the idea. We asked her to bring the cop to the foreground, talking to them. So her original is not exactly accurate to the drawing. So think of
because he's talking to another cop
on the radio by the police car, and he's saying in Julia's original caption, "Cute emergency, I need backup." Hard to visualize with how this looks here.
Yeah. So that doesn't, yeah. So
I mean, this was my favorite. I think we had 2. Lawrence said yes, and Bob, even though Joel liked the tennis balls.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to be outvoted.
But it wasn't
like
even
my-
in your top 10 though, so it's like.
No, I had nothing. That I'm in no position to argue at any of these points.
And then I think Lawrence in his write-up will discuss it, but it's like it seemed like every other one was like eating a license or license and registration. Everyone was there were, but here we go. So you left the scene of an accident. Kathy Roble Cornell. She has
man,
before.
She has won before.
You left the scene of an accident.
She has won both the CartoonStock and the New Yorker caption.
Yeah, well done, Kathy. There were 3 that had the word accident in them. I'm taking you back to the accident and putting your nose in it. The accidents in the back seat, ? Not that great. But I'm taking you back to the accident and rubbing your nose in it is pretty good as well. So congratulations, Kathy.
Yeah, but we're also a little pissed at you.
And Kathy, you might need to file a 1099 for how much you've won.
Trevor, who submitted the finalists?
We don't look at this, but next time let's see Joel if Kathy.
We don't look at this.
No. I mean, I'm not. First of all, we have to treat her stuff completely fairly, but we should be charging her more.
Yeah, Kathy.
Yeah,
that might work with the terms of she'll still make.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
All right, so let me go here with cute. Don't get cute with me, Clarence Krause. Nice name, Clarence Krause.
That's new.
Definitely, I don't recognize that one. Lawrence's turning tricks is Preston Williams. Name seems
good job, Preston.
Yeah,
you sick bastard.
Yeah.
I know. Should we look at the rest of his?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Now I don't know if we keep going dissecting theirs, they might not. So Preston Williams, turning tricks at rest stops doesn't make you service animals. An eyewitness at the pet store sang like a canary. Where I'm sending you, they'll do more than sniff. So Preston's a little edgy of a.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he is.
Tennis ball factory. Gary Borislau.
Oh,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah,
he's a big advocate of puns, so I'm glad this was not a pun.
Yeah.
Who's a bad driver? You're a bad driver. Bob Eckstein, a cartoonist.
Oh, really?
Whoa!
Yeah, Bob Eckstein.
Bob, you're entering the contest?
They're allowed.
That's great.
I've actually talked to several cartoonists who've entered, but he's the first one that's ever won. Yeah.
That's cool. That's great. That's great.
As long as it's not his own drawing and he does, then he can enter. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I think. What is?
Yeah, that's terrific.
That's funny.
Maybe he'll give us a shout out in his newsletter.
A good trick, learning to use the turn signal. Mark Grant, he's won before as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
And that's it. Yeah, he left the scene of an accident being the last one.
That's great.
All right, we did it.
Congratulations to Kathy. She's basically an employee, probably makes more than us. But good for her. It's a good caption. And thank you all. Thanks to everyone who enters, even though we make fun of you. Any other words?
Yeah. No.
Well, I will say, Vin Coca, who does the podcast on the Caption Contest, he was upset that we chose this drawing because he hates drawings with cats and dogs, and he thinks that it just elicits too many obvious entries. But I think we did a good job of picking some of the less obvious ones that actually do work. So I think it was a great drawing.
Yeah,
absolutely, and I agree.
But if you Victor Tangchuga, who has the site Words Below, which is a great site for the New Yorker Caption Contest. So every time you see any particular contest there, you can see related contests and the number of animals involved.
Yeah.
is is huge because they're ideally suited to
Absolutely.
to the tax.
And you can be clever, with it. You don't have to go for the obvious joke.
No. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for entering. See you guys next month.